Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online series 8 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. In the last episode, we used a really fun team featuring Soak, Choice Scarf, Tapu Fini, as well as Assault Vest Zekrom, and Life Orb Gigantamax Venusaur, so we'll be playing a couple more games with it today. So, thank you once again to Akuma VGC for the team. Details are in the description below, as well as a rental and a paste, and let's get started with today's episode. I have to say, after yesterday's episode, I just, went on super tilt. I played a lot of games between the last episode and the one I'm recording now, and just felt like nothing was clicking, honestly. So, as you can see, our rating went down quite a bit, and you know, it's super frustrating, but it's also, I wanted to kind of talk about this. We'll go into the match first, but, if you ever feel like you're having a bad string of games, trust me when I say it happens to literally everyone. And, I, try different teams. I was, playing some games with the Zekrom team, but also trying a bunch of other teams, and it felt like nothing was clicking for me. It was, a mix of me playing on tilt / going up against tough matchups, and just all of these different factors combined. So typically when that happens, I recommend to take a break, take a step away from the game. But since I'm still trying my best to make daily videos, I just tried to mentally refresh after, those last couple games, take a couple hours off, and then get back into things. So yeah, first game of the day, and we're up against a Palkia team, which is really interesting. Well, we have AV Zekrom. Fini Venusaur isn't bad here. I mean, I can just Soak and go for Vine Lash immediately. Oh, wait, does Soak work against Palkia? I'm actually not sure. How does that interaction work? If they're already part water, does it change them to just water? I actually have not seen that interaction before, so I'm not sure. That's interesting. I guess let's find out. Fini, Venu, Zekrom, and Urshifu probably. Torkoal might have been the better answer here. My opponent's team is really interesting because there's so much support, right? It's only Metagross and the Palkia that are going to max, so we'll see. Either way, thanks so much as always for watching Road to Ranked. If you enjoyed, please share support by leaving a like in the video. I'd really appreciate it. And question of the day, I want to know if you could make one fix to Pokemon, whether it be casual or competitive. Let me know in the comment section below what you'd want it to be. My answer would be the ability to trade multiple Pokemon at once, not just a single one. It's, still bizarre to me that we can only trade one at a time. Okay, so here's the cool thing. We have Misty Terrain up. They go Comfey Palkia, but with Misty Terrain, I don't think a +2 Wormwind actually one-shots Venusaur. So my only question here is basically whether or not Soak actually works against Palkia. I've never seen this interaction before, so we're about to find out. I guess if I wanted to play it safer, I could actually just Moonblast and Vine Lash. That might just be better. Because I would hate to Soak, I feel like that's probably a knockout, honestly. And I would hate to Soak just for it to not actually work. I feel like it should work, though. Alright, we're about to learn. The language in the text doesn't imply otherwise, but sometimes there's some funky mechanics in Pokemon. So, let's find out. Either way, yeah, I think after this team, there's a Kyurem Black team that I want to feature, and then I might take a couple of days off just with the series coming to an end. We'll see. I'll see if there are any teams in Series 8 that I haven't featured that I really like. But yeah, I definitely have been a little worn down by ladder recently, and so I don't want to force too many more videos if I don't want to. If I feel like I'm not playing super well, and I'm, it's not up to par. Okay, that's actually really interesting that our Venusaur is faster. So if this Soak stuff works, I think we should just one-shot Palkia. Although Moonblast plus Vine Lash honestly may have been enough. I'm not sure. Either way, the Fini is helpful for multiple reasons here. Not only to Soak, but also for the Misty Terrain. So, yeah, I've just never seen this interaction before. Okay, they actually go for Ally Switch, but I'm honestly okay with that, because I just one-shot the Comfey this way. And because we're faster than the Palkia, I actually don't have to worry too much about it. Now, my opponent can bring in Liepard, and that can pull off some shenanigans. But this is not a bad start to the game for us, I would say. Because the other cool thing, by the way, is that, Fini can actually be a decent sweeper against Palkia in the late game. I want to know the answer to the question, does Soak work? They go for Max Lightning. Okay, that's fine with me. Maybe it's not fine with me. That one-shot us. Wow. And that wasn't a crit either. I'm kind of surprised by that. Because it's definitely policy on the Palkia, right? Yeah. Wow, I really didn't think Fini would get one-shot there, but Palkia is really strong. This doesn't have any special defense investment, so perhaps I shouldn't be super surprised by that. 118. Ooh, our Zekrom outspeeds Palkia, which is very nice here. So let's just go into Zekrom. I'm actually really surprised their Palkia is not max speed. I guess it makes sense for them to be bulky. But that ally switch actually worked out alright for us. Moonblast plus Vine Lash wouldn't have made a difference there. Would have covered for Sash on Comfey, though. Well, it doesn't matter, though, because of the Vine Lash damage in the end. So, yeah. Alright, the cool thing is they also set up Electric Terrain for our Zekrom, so that's pretty sweet. Oh, they're going to copy us with Ditto. Okay. That is interesting. Well, you can Earth Power at best, but that's not KOing us. Scarf maybe is a possibility, but I don't even have to worry too much about the damage here. Our Zekrom's faster, by the way, too, so that's good. Like, I really want to Fusion Bolt and Vine Lash into Palkia, but Palkia Max Guard here feels likely. That being said, I don't think Ditto actually threatens us that much with damage anyway. So I'm just going to double up onto Palkia. Palkia Max Guarding here, like, feels relatively obvious. I could have gone just Vine Lash Palkia, dual Wing Beat into Ditto. That could have worked as well. But I feel like we have room to work with right now because we outspeed our opponent, and that's the main thing. So it's pretty cool to actually use Zekrom normally here, because most of the time I feel like I am maxing it. But they don't max guard, which is great. Oh, Ditto's the one that... Oh, it could be a double protect here, but I wouldn't mind that because then you just take more Vine Lash damage and leave yourself exposed. But yeah, they were basically, I think, hoping me to go all in on Venusaur there. But this double up on Palkia, I don't think will KO, but that's fine. It's a really bulky Palkia, actually. Wow. And they're going to max Wormwind. Let's see if this one-shots with Assault Vest. It does. Pretty impressive stuff from the Palkia here, I have to say. I'm curious on the item on the Ditto. It's not going to be Scarf, right? So Sash. I'm actually nervous about Max Quake not knocking out Palkia from that range. This is a really bulky Palkia. I mean, that explains why it's as slow as it is, right? So we have Urshifu now. I'll have one extra turn of Vine Lash onto whatever the last Pokemon is. Venusaur is obviously great for us here. Like, I want a Max Quake here, but I'm not sure it's really worth it for us. Max Strike is kind of interesting to ensure I outspeed in this endgame. Yeah, I think I'm just going to Wicked Blow Palkia and Max Strike into the Ditto. I'm okay with that. Huh. They switched out into Amoonguss. Okay. Like, I'm fine with this because the reality is that you can't redirect Venusaur's attacks away. Oh, but I see what they're going for. They're trying to sacrifice Palkia to copy Urshifu. That's actually really neat. I like that a lot. And I don't think Palkia faints from Vine Lash here either, which is awkward. So they did a pretty good job, like, stalling out my Vine Lash, all things considered. The good thing, though, is Electric Terrain is up, right? So you can't Spore me right now, which is nice. Both of our maxes end. And at this point, my opponent's trying to position the Urshifu to come back out, right? You can't protect with the Amoonguss right now, though. Is there one more turn of Vine Lash? Ooh, there is, which means Palkia is guaranteed to faint after this turn. So, I don't mind just going for Wicked Blow onto Amoonguss and Earth Power onto it. Actually, no, that doesn't feel right. Okay, let's say they are Ditto and the Ditto has Sash, right? I don't think Wicked Blow KOs Amoonguss. If you're my opponent, you protect Amoonguss here and target Urshifu, I would think. Oh, man. That was actually a really good switch out by them. I can't let Palkia get an attack off here. They don't protect Amoonguss, which makes sense. You don't want to protect him. I was thinking you protect in case I double up onto it. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Hangs on with what looks like 1 HP. I think now... Talonflame into Urshifu. Oh, man. I mean, I could have picked up a double knockout there, but then Palkia was presumably going to target the Urshifu. Now, we know they're not Scarf Ditto. So it's probably Sash. Oh, what a disappointment. I think I need them to mess up. If they Rage Powder close combat, they should have this locked up. So I see a win in which we Sucker Punch and Leaf Storm to KO the Urshifu. Assuming they are Sash. That's literally, I think, 1 HP. Wow. Obviously, if we knock out Amoonguss there, the game's over because it's 2-on-1 and my Urshifu's still a Sash. But that was a really good switch by them, so kudos. Kudos, kudos, kudos. I just didn't think Palkia would one-shot the Fini. And they Rage Powder, yeah. So unless they're not Sash Urshifu or Sash Ditto for some reason, this should be a win for them. There's close combat coming out. Wow. I also could have Dragon Clawed with Zekrom, I just realized. Over Bolt Strike. That might have done enough to pick up the knockout. Oh, but they're not Sash Ditto. Okay, I thought we had this lost, honestly. Wow, that was a really good switch to recopy the Urshifu, though. I'm just curious on the item, then, on Ditto, if you're not Scarf or Sash. Unless it was Scarf. That would be really interesting. Hold on, Dragon Claw, was Dragon Claw gonna do more with Zekrom? I just realized I went for Fusion Bolt over Dragon Claw. I didn't even think twice about that. I was just conditioned because the terrain was up. I have to double check there. Because that might have... Oh, okay. Well, we'll take that. I actually want to double check. I want to double check that calc on Palkia. Because I was like, oh, what could I have even done differently in this game? I could have read into the Amoonguss switch in too. And the Palkia max guard that turn and doubled up onto the Amoonguss slot. But I didn't want to leave Palkia unchecked, right? Yeah, I definitely should have gone for Dragon Claw there, I think. I just want to confirm that calc. Electric Terrain. Oh, no, okay, I'm not wrong. Yeah, they do pretty much the same amount of damage. No. Bolt Strike actually does more. Okay, so I'm glad I wasn't wrong in that. Okay, then, I don't know. That one's so tough. Like, I don't even know where I could have gone significantly better. The Palkia was just so dang bulky. I was not expecting that in the slightest. We even doubled up into it. And then, what? The next turn... I went Wicked Blow. If I go Wicked Blow Earth Power into the Amoonguss, that KOs Palkia Faints, but then Palkia probably Spatial Rends. And if we're assuming it's Focus Sash on Urshifu, then it's still... They'd have to go for Sucker Punch. I'm not sure. I feel like there's probably one or two better things I could have done better. But I also want to know the calc for Max Lightning onto Tapu Fini. I'm going to do that after this match, because I did not expect that to KO. This is a really cool team. Kanto, Moltres, Thundurus, Therian, Solgaleo. Even if I soak Thundurus, does its ability still work? I would assume so, right? Which means Zekrom is not good here. Porygon is such a nuisance to deal with, honestly. It's like one of my least favorite Pokemon to go up against when using this team, so that's going to be a problem. They don't have great weather control, so I could theoretically just lead Torkoal Venu. Fini Venusaur is really compelling to me here with Torkoal Zekrom in the back. But then how can I not bring Urshifu in this one? Or Landorus, they're both so good. This is always the tricky thing. I always want to bring all 6 Pokemon. Fini, Venu, Zekrom. Maybe I don't bring Torkoal. Maybe I bring Urshifu instead. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, Torkoal's valuable, but the thing is, I'm not going to be going for Burning Jealousy. I'm not really going to burn stuff, and if I'm bringing Fini, I can't yawn as effectively either. That is one thing to note about this team. Like, the Fini and Torkoal do kind of counteract each other a little bit, so you don't necessarily... Like, if you're bringing Fini early, Torkoal does lose kind of its effectiveness. Moltres plus Umbreon. Moltres, Umbreon, okay. This is a pretty good, like, anti-Sun core, so that makes sense. Landorus would have been quite nice as a lead here. If I'm my opponent, what am I going for? I really want to just soak this Moltres and Vine Lash it. If they max Moltres, we can deal with Solgaleo and Umbreon with the Urshifu pretty easily. And if I actually knock out Moltres turn 1, should they max? Okay, I don't think they're maxing. That could be a problem. I don't mind getting rid of Moltres early on, though. That's a really big pain to the Urshifu that I have in the back as well. We also could maybe be faster than Moltres here, but I'd be surprised. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if Moltres just protects turn 1, in which that would be kind of frustrating for me, because I could have just gone Soak, Vine Lash into Umbreon. Aw, great protect. Man, that's so frustrating, because if I actually just doubled up onto Umbreon turn 1, we're in such a phenomenal position, but now I'm going to probably get hit by a Snarl. It just doesn't feel right to ignore Moltres, though, right? Like, let's say Moltres maxes, I Soak, Vine Lash, Umbreon as they max Airstream Venu. It's not good for us. Snarl. Ooh, Venu dodges it, though. That's actually a huge dodge. Okay, so they know what's coming their way now, which makes me think you're not going to want to max the Moltres, right? That was a really good protect on their end, though, so props to them. It's leftovers. Okay, well, this thing's definitely not maxing in front of me. I'm going to get rid of Umbreon, I think. We did get a very lucky dodge there. Let's see, I have Zekrom, Urshifu. I guess I should have just focused my efforts on Umbreon to start with, because I have a Zekrom in the back, so it's not like Moltres is actually a problem at all, even if it maxes. And Umbreons don't carry Protect that frequently, so... It's just a nice play by my opponent, and I'm not sure how many players would actually go for Protect on turn 1. And it is a pretty risky Protect, right? If I did double up onto Umbreon, they just lose so much on turn 1. Like, so much to the point where I don't know how you come back from it, honestly. Especially because I get to see the leftovers on the Moltres as well. So, that was a very high-risk Protect, but it paid off very, very well for them. So, if I were to replay turn 1, yeah, like, even without knowing Moltres was going to Protect there, I think, like, it's probably better to just eliminate Umbreon. They switch out Moltres, though, which I'm happy with. Into Thundurus. Okay. So, the good thing right now is that we're getting a lot of Vine Lash damage off across the board. Soak Fini is putting in so much work right now, too, which is sick. But I honestly wouldn't have mind just knocking out Thundurus there outright. It's interesting that they were willing to give up Thundurus. I guess, like, Thundurus could max here, but do you even have that strong... Like, the other cool thing about Soak is that you get rid of your opponent's typing, right? Or you get rid of their flying type, for example, so then they don't have, like, the same type attack bonus. Solgaleo just comes out. Solgaleo. Is this Scarf Thundurus? Is that a possibility? We've got Zekrom Urshifu in the back. Solgaleo protecting here feels so obvious to me that I want to double up onto Thundurus. Okay, I'm going to go for it. They're going to max, which makes me think they're not protecting. The other thing, though, is that, like, even if they... Like, they might be weakness policy, right? And I didn't want to Vine Lash into a weakness policy. And if I Soak, I also get rid of the Solgaleo's typing. I should have just targeted Umbreon turn 1, because, like, if you can pick up 3 knockouts in 3 turns with the combo, you just win the game. And Umbreon, I think, is less likely to protect than Moltres in a position like that. Okay, so they just end up going for T-Bolt. Fini takes that rather well. That's good. We'll get Vine Lash. I mean, the good thing is that I have Urshifu in this endgame, right? I do need to be careful about how much Necrozma takes, though. Or like, making sure Necrozma is actually in KO range from a Wicked Blow. Oh, it's actually really critical. We outspeed... Sorry, Necrozma, Solgaleo. It's a really big deal that we outspeed Solgaleo here. Okay, now what? Max ends. They have Moltres. I have Zekrom, but the thing is they can Max Quake. That was a good double up onto my Fini. One more turn of Vine Lash. Can't really do damage into Moltres with anything but Zekrom. But if I bring out Zekrom, I'm just going to get hit by Max Quake, right? I guess the thing, though, is that my Zekrom's faster here. I think we do have to bring out Zekrom first. Because Urshifu's the endgame win con. I need it for Wicked Blow, otherwise I can't do damage into Solgaleo. Now, the thing is that Moltres protecting here is super duper obvious. Max Quake might just one-shot Zekrom, too. Wow, this is going to be a really close finish. There's no way you don't protect Moltres here, but I don't want to protect on Zekrom. So I could Fusion Bolt into this. That does give me a little bit more damage. I don't want to try to activate a policy on it by accident. But, like, let's say my opponent doesn't protect. They could just pick up a double knockout here, so I don't think the Fusion Bolt damage is worth it here. I think I just Fusion Bolt onto Moltres. I'll double up onto it, even though I think Protect's coming our way right now. Yeah. I don't have a way around this. I guess I could have brought out Urshifu and then protected, but then what do I get out of it, really, is the question. I don't think we're going to survive a Max Quake here, but I guess you have to be running it. Yeah, what kind of... Yeah, you're always running it. Okay. They positioned this Solgaleo really well for a late-game sweep. Ooh, Zekrom does hang on, though. And we resist Moltres' attacks. Hold on. That might be enough. The fact we survived there is a big deal because it means our Urshifu gets to conserve its Focus Sash. Alright, good stuff, Zekrom. Bulky Zekrom coming through. Their Solgaleo is definitely bulkier than usual, though. But now I don't even know if Moltres can knock out the Zekrom, which is a really big deal. I don't even know if it outspeeds. That's my big question here. We're just gonna Fusion Bolt and Weather Ball into it again. Because Urshifu will win the end game against Solgaleo. They might try to double here, which is scary. I really should have just tried to knock out Umbreon turn 1. It was foolish of me to be that scared of Moltres. Because the thing is, if we bait Moltres to max, then hey, we have Zekrom to deal with it later on. Moltres can't do anything against Zekrom. But I was expecting to be offensive Moltres, not a lefty set, so that's really cool to see. And we just outspeed with Zekrom. Okay, huge. Is this one shot? Oh, beautiful. Okay, nice. That's huge. We got very lucky with the Snarl dodge in this game, though. I think without that dodge, this game may have played out very differently, because it just allowed me to pick up one-hit KOs that I might not have picked up otherwise. So, like, they can go for all the defense boosts they want, but this is exactly why we needed Urshifu in the end game. Isn't Moltres base 100? Or is it 90? Oh, it is 90. This Zekrom isn't max, though, is it? I don't remember off the top of my head. I want to double check. Let me see. I'm just clicking yesterday's video because there's the pace there. Yeah, Zekrom's admin 76, so their Moltres is even slower than that. Interesting. Either way, I'm really curious what the rest of the moves on it were. I was expecting, like, I think if you're lefties, I wouldn't be surprised if it were Roost as well. And so, like, you use it specifically into Sun, which is why my opponent led it. But now we have Urshifu, so we could just Wicked Blow and Earth Power. Nice. Yeah, I can't help but think I could have played turn 1 better, but I don't know. I don't think it's, like, unreasonable to assume Moltres might max there on turn 1. But like I said, even if it maxes, we have Zekrom in the back, so it's not even that much of an issue. If we can one-shot Umbreon... Like, the cool thing about Vine Lash is if you actually pick up a one-hit KO with it, you just force something to come in and take, like, 3 turns of residual damage. And that's a lot, right? That's basically 50% of its health on one Pokemon, if they stay in for the rest of the turns. Oh, we get to check the team, which I'm very happy about. It's funny how I was saying Umbreon's, like, don't carry Protect that much. This one actually does. There's no Moonlight here. Or Yawn. Wow, that's very unconventional for an Umbreon. Porygon 2. I'm very glad this didn't come out, because this thing is such a nuisance to beat. It was weakness policy Solgaleo. That's exactly why we didn't want to soak Vine Lash it, because if Solgaleo survives, which I think it would, yeah, given that it's max HP as well, then Solgaleo could actually sweep me, so that's why I didn't want to soak it. And there it is. Burning Jealousy, Roost, Air Slash, Protect. 110 speed. Yeah, so very interesting. And then Focus Sash. Ooh, Focus Sash, wow. So, I didn't think Venusaur would come in and put in as much work as it did, given that we were, like, going into this, I was like, oh, they have 2 flying types. There's no way Venusaur can do that much, right? But it was actually phenomenal for us there, so glad to really feature, like, what, the potential of the soak strategies here. I think one of my key learnings in playing with this team is like your Pokemon selection matters so much, and like that doesn't seem like great insight, right? That's the case with like pretty much every team you use, but with this team especially, because like if you break up cores, you really have to get fancy with how you play, right? Fini Zekrom, Fini Venu, Torkoal Venu, like these are all Pokemon that synergize well together and want to typically be used together. So if you like deviate from that, you better have a good reason. And it's important to identify when Fini is like when you can't just go for the soak strats immediately. Now Venusaur seems really weak into this, right? My opponent has Talonflame, Cinderace, and Togekiss. Landorus feels like the approach if we can Swords Dance. It's just so tough to guarantee Swords Dance. Zekrom is threatened by a lot here. My opponent has 2 ground types and a Dialga, so it doesn't seem like the right max option. Togekiss plus Dialga is potentially scary. Fini is interesting. I mean, I actually feel fine leading Fini. It's just what I want to lead next to it. I really want to go Fini Landorus here. I'm also really weak to the Swampert if I don't bring Venusaur. I don't like this matchup on paper. My opponent has a really cool team. Swampert, Talonflame, Togekiss, Dialga. Not a lot of Pokemon you see, and certainly not used with each other. So here's the thing. If my opponent didn't have Talonflame, Torkoal, Venusaur, maybe you can make a better argument for it. But the problem is they also have Cinderace, right? So Venusaur just gets dunked on right now. Togekiss in general is a really big problem because of its ability to redirect stuff. But I don't like leading Zekrom. I don't feel like I have a safe lead here, and that's what makes this scary, right? It feels like I'm guessing at best. But this actually is probably one of the better things we could have run into. Talonflame, Cinderace. Now, they're probably going to be White Herb on Cinderace, and that's part of the problem. But what's really interesting is if you max Cinderace, I can go for... I can go for Nature's Madness, max Rockfall. And if you max Airstream here, or Pyro Ball, Rockfall's super effective into Cinderace, and that would pick up a KO. They're not White Herb on Cinderace. What do you do with Cinderace here then, right? I want to Swords Dance so badly with Landorus here, so badly. Would you... There's no way you max Cinderace here, right? Like, I want a Nature's Madness. It's just whether or not it's greedy to Swords Dance here. But I honestly think there is an opportunity for it. Because Cinderace definitely doesn't want to max right now, and I think it might feel pressure to switch out. If I get this Swords Dance off and Cinderace switches out, we are in such a good position. So there's the switch out. Okay, that's a great start to the game. Into Togekiss, that's fine with me. I mean, the other play I was thinking is Nature's Madness Rockfall. And Talonflame protects. Wow, let's go. Okay, Landorus is primed to sweep right now. Oh, that would have been such a good hit if we hit, because then we... Okay, whatever. It's fine, it's fine. Frustrating to miss that for sure, but it is what it is. The fact is, still, we get Swords Dance off, and that's a big deal. I'm going to Nature's Madness into Togekiss, Max, and Rockfall into it, I think. Actually, I kind of like Airstreaming here. Oh, I'm actually so sad about that miss, but maybe it doesn't actually make that much of a difference. The thing I'm worried about is, I mean, now Talonflame Tailwinds, right? Talonflame Tailwinds. I can Rockfall Togekiss. Like, I want to Airstream it. I don't think Airstream actually makes that much sense. I might as well Rockfall to break Talonflames. Huh? Okay. Well, I see what they're going for. Because you just bring Talonflame back in Tailwind, and that actually gets you another extra turn to Tailwind. I was thinking their strat was just Tailwind, sacrifice Togekiss. But this is actually interesting, because now it's sacrifice Togekiss, bring Talonflame back in, get an extra turn to Tailwind, install it to try to my Dynamax. Okay, that actually makes more sense than I initially anticipated. They protect, though. They're doing a really good job stalling out my Dynamax. Like, that one turn alone buys them so much. Wow, and it's Chardy Berry, too. Sheesh. So here's the thing. Now if you're my opponent, you definitely follow me with Togekiss. That was a real... Yeah, my opponent has... That was actually a really, really good switch. I definitely didn't expect Chardy Togekiss. Even if we hit that Nature's Madness, we'd still kind of be in the same... Well, if we hit it, then I'd probably be more inclined to max Airstream Talonflame rather than Rockfall Togekiss there, but that's fine. I'm going to go on a Venusaur here and go for a Rockfall. Well, so here's the thing. I could Airstream, but then Talonflame just comes in if I go in Venu, right? So what if I go Zekrom? That was... Landorus does so well into this matchup, but that one turn alone was so smart by my opponent, so props to them. I think I'm going to go Zekrom here. There's no reason to Rockfall Togekiss. Actually, why in the world would I Rockfall? Airstream covers everything. That just buys that buying them one turn is such a big deal though. Like, but there's no way I can cover for the Dialga switch in. Okay, they're gonna max Dialga, which I'm honestly okay with. Am I okay with it? I don't know. How could I have covered the Dialga switch in Nature's Madness and Rockfall into Talonflame? I don't think +2 Rockfall KOs Dialga anyway, but we would have done 50% to it on the switch in. Ooh, helping hand. Okay. The support Chardy Togekiss is really, really cool. I wasn't sure what to really expect going into this, but I love that set. That is so cool. Yeah, I think if I were to replay turn 2, because Talonflame had protected the previous turn, we should have just gone Nature's Madness and Airstream or Rockfall. That would have been better. Ooh, but they Steel Spike into Fini, and now Zekrom comes in. That's great. Okay, cool. So they don't pick up a KO, which is really a big deal here as well. Because I think part of the problem... And their Life Orb Dialga, okay. Now my question is also, how fast is your Dialga? Do you actually outspeed me? Because I got a speed boost onto Landorus. I'm just double checking how much speed the Landorus has. It is Jolly Max. You have to bring out Talonflame right now in Tailwind, right? I have Venu in the back. Oh man, this Venu is so useless. Why the heck did I bring Venu? Yeah, they had Swampert. The problem is if I don't bring Venu and they bring Swampert, it's really, really, really bad for us. I mean, there is a chance we outspeed, honestly. So I don't mind just Fusion Bolting into Talonflame and Max Quaking into Dialga. The good thing is that our Landorus hasn't taken any damage. This also could be just like Max Speed Dialga with Max Hailstorm. Okay, they have Max Guard. And Tailwind. Well, that's another turn of their Max over, so that's good. I kind of wish I Dragon Claw Talonflame to intentionally not KO it here. I think this was actually a great example of a position to not pick up a KO. And you might be wondering, why in the world would you not want to pick up the KO there? Well, the thing is, by picking up this knockout, my opponent now gets a free switch into Cinderace. And so they have a Dialga, which, you know, still has one more turn of Max, and Cinderace, and my Dynamax on Landorus is over. And I don't want Protect on Landorus either. Yeah, even though my opponent is down 2-4, I favor their position more than mine right now. The Talonflame switch out into Dialga was just so smart, and I should have, like, I wasted so much by doubling up into Togekiss. I absolutely should have doubled up onto Talonflame because Talonflame had protected the previous turn. So, kudos to my opponent for finding a really good play. Like I said, I just think we might outspeed Dialga here with Landorus. The question is whether or not it's worth it to try and find out. I mean, the thing is, I also don't know if your Cinderace actually KOs me, right? Can you pick up a double KO right now? I guess it would be High Jump Kick, Lando, Dialga, target Landorus. I have Venusaur in the back. I don't know. This turn, I went for Fusion Bolt Earthquake. I just couldn't find the best... Huh? Wow. Okay, Gunk Shot. Well, this might just KO anyway. It does risk a miss. Oh, it does pick up the knockout anyway. That may have mattered. I'm not sure. And we are faster with Landorus. Okay, huge. There's Sash Cinderace, but Sand takes care of it. Can they change the weather here? You can only do Rockfall or Hailstorm, I think. And they just Steel Spike, okay. Wow, that one-shots. We're not out of it yet. We're not out of it yet. Or out of it as in, like, you would think we'd win the game after that last turn, but, like, it's still not over. I think we just lock ourselves into Moonblast with Tapu Fini, though, right? Like, I don't think Dialga can do enough damage at this point. It was really critical that we outsped Dialga with Landorus there, but I figured that might be the case. Once again, which is why if you're using this team, speed interactions are so important. Okay. Now what? Their Dynamax is over. They still have Tailwind up? Yeah, that's actually the problem, right? 2 turns of Tailwind. I don't think you can one-shot these, though. So I'll just Moonblast Earth Power. Like, I could have Protect with Venu there, but if I Protect Venu, you one-shot Tapu Fini, I lose the game. Whereas Earth Power should KO Dialga from this range after a Life Orb chip, I think. Gong Shot on Cinderace is really interesting. You know, it's obviously very strong for Fairy types specifically. But you don't see it that frequently. So, let's see. Oh, and we outspeed with Scarf Fini anyway. Actually, we should have known that, right? Because, yeah. Wow, okay, that's so much. Oh, we got a crit there. But I don't think that matters because 2 of them were going to KO anyway. Yeah, and they target Venu here, and Venu survives. Okay, nice. The main thing that was awkward for my opponent here was forced, like, they didn't actually get too much usage out of their max moves in the end, right? It was really critical that we switched in Zekrom for that Fini. That switch felt pretty safe to me, by the way, because, like, you're not going to Worm Wind a Fini on the switch out. And the fact they didn't target my Landorus that turn was a really big deal, so I feel like this matchup heavily favors me. My opponent played really, really well, like, those first couple turns to, like, stall out my Dynamax. But in the end, we just had more late-game offense, which was the main thing. I think, well, because Sand was up, yeah, Sash Cinderace was negated. I'm going to play a 4th one here. Sharp Beak, Tailwind Talonflame, Life Orb Dialga, 111 speed, Focus Sash, White Herb Garchomp, AV Swampert, and Charty Togekiss, yeah. I feel so streaky when I play on the ladder recently. Like I said, I like tilted off the face of the earth after recording yesterday's episode and playing some games off the screen. And it's funny, I always tell people, like, hey, if you're, like, you know, playing poorly or getting a bad string of games, I can just take a break. But I definitely did not do that, and I should have. So, yeah. Alright, Yveltal for the last game with Zekrom. Okay. They have Landorus-T. That scares me a lot. I mean, it's funny because those 2 Pokemon are probably 2 of the most common Pokemon, but, like, I don't like going up against them at all. I want to play towards SD Landorus again. Doesn't feel right to bring Venu into Lando Yveltal. I definitely see them leading Landorus. The problem is Aleki into Fini, because, like, some Alekis can just one-shot Fini if you're Magnet or Life Orb with a Thunderbolt. I don't know what the right lead here is. Aleki makes things so dicey. It's Aleki plus Landorus, because if I lead Zekrom into that, it's just so tough. I'm going to try Urshifu, Landorus, Fini, Zekrom. We'll see how this goes. I really don't like using Urshifu in the early game, but I think it might make some sense here. Is it the right decision? We'll have to see. Yeah. Yveltal Landorus. It's not terrible. But if your Yveltal's faster and you're max speed, you can just max Yveltal and Airstream into my Urshifu. You could just Airstream Rock Slide, for example. Fini Zekrom? How is that here? It's not great. Fini Venu doesn't work either, so this is what I mean. I don't see what the right lead matchup was here. Now I can switch out Landorus out into Zekrom. This is really interesting, right? If you aggressively target my Urshifu right now and I actually get a Swords Dance off, it's such a big deal because then I can... But the problem is then, does your Yveltal max? My goal should be, theoretically, to eliminate Landorus. It's just like you could max Yveltal. Like, I really want a Swords Dance here. I know it's greedy, but I think it can work out. So I'm going to switch out into Zekrom here. And, yeah, I'm going to try Swords Dance here. Because if Yveltal maxes and my opponent does indeed double up onto Urshifu with Airstream Rock Slide, and we actually get the Swords Dance off, it puts Landorus in an amazing spot. Let's see. Alright, there's the max. I mean, surely you're not going to max Landorus at -1 attack, right? Their Landorus gets Swords Dance here. It's just so frustrating if they didn't end up like doubling up onto Urshifu, because if they didn't and I just Wicked Blow into Landorus for a KO, it would be huge. So there's Airstream. Kudos. Yep, they punished me really heavily. The thing here is if I actually just KO'd... If they U-turned here, then I actually had no counterplay to this whatsoever. But if they just went for, like... It's Life Orb too, yeah. Well done. Well done. So that, you know, given this, yes, I could have stayed in with Urshifu. I could have gone for Wicked Blow. But it feels so hard to make that play. I think my opponent just wins the game off that because I greeted Swords Dance. Now, I don't regret greeting Swords Dance, quite frankly, because this is just a really awkward matchup. It's funny because, like, Yveltal, yeah, Zekrom does really well into, but the Landorus is just such a big problem. But really well done by my opponent here. I think we could still win, though. I think we Dynamax Fini. My only problem is I don't even know if Max Hailstorm KOs Landorus, especially if you're Assault Vested. If you're my opponent, you can now just max Darkness Zekrom and Earthquake again. I suppose I could max Zekrom here. Hold on. If we survive, we max Lightning, Icy Wind, drop Landorus' speed. Yeah, we're still in this. I don't know. I had a couple of games while I was playing where I just like practiced maxing Fini. It just does no damage, and you feel so bad. Like, in this, if we had, like, special attack EVs, we were, like, max special attack, I'd be like, okay, this actually makes sense, right? But we have no special attack investment. Also, Icy Wind, its max move is base 110. So I'm hoping here to survive Max Darkness into Earthquake, pick up the KO onto Yveltal, and then drop Landorus' speed. I don't think we survive Earthquake. That did so much. Man, Life Orb Yveltal is a beast. What a monster. Yeah. I think if we had, like, I don't know, 20 more HP? Okay. I'm not saying there's a chance. But there might be a chance. We are in it. We are back in it. Thank you, Zekrom. Thank you. Next. I don't know if this KOs. No! My heart. Why? Just when I see the glimmer of hope get snatched away. Wait, hold on, though. They didn't Airstream. We're faster with Fini. Hold on. Hold on, folks. There's a chance. I have Scarf Icy Wind. I can Scarf Icy Wind Airstream into Landorus. Double KO. Please don't miss. Good max guard. Let some Sucker Punch. You only max guard there if you think I'm Scarfed, right? No, not necessarily. Oh, I could have maxed Rockfall, but then I would have KO'd myself. So I don't think that's worth it. Yeah. Okay. Yveltal's gonna faint. The problem is I just don't have that much damage, right? Yveltal can... does it have Sucker Punch? That's the other question. This is why you don't give up, though, right? The game looked lost after turn 1. I still think my opponent's gonna win, but like, hey, we have a chance. We'll take any chance we can get. They bring out Urshifu. Man, what do I do? I can't switch in Urshifu, right? I'm gonna get Sucker Punch at this endgame anyway, so I think I'm just gonna Airstream here. And Icy Wind. I do, like, the Icy Wind lets me drop Urshifu's speed. I don't know, though. They went for Sucker Punch there, so I could have conserved Zekrom. Right? Is it right to switch out there? Like, the reason I don't like this... I think they have to Sucker Punch, actually, so yes, we have... Well, the other thing is Yveltal could have Sucker Punch, right? So if Yveltal had Sucker Punch and I switched out and you Sucker Punch close combat Zekrom and I lose Urshifu, then the game's instantly over. Whereas with Urshifu here in the endgame, we stand a chance. And their last one's Grimmsnarl. I think they're gonna win because we just don't do enough damage. Oh, actually, if they have Fake Out on Grimmsnarl, they definitely win. Because you just Fake Out close combat my Urshifu, right? I guess maybe we don't get one shot by that. I have to close combat their Urshifu right now. They can't protect, and obviously I'm choice locked into Icy Wind. Oh, that's so smart. That was such a smart play by my opponent. The Sucker Punch to just break my Sash. Okay, Icy Wind actually did a relevant amount of... I assume Spirit Break knocks out Urshifu here. Ah, great Sucker Punch. I don't know why I didn't even... I could have gone for my own Sucker Punch. I don't know. I don't know. I should have switched out Zekrom. Unless we somehow survive Spirit Break on Urshifu, but I'm not counting on it. Yeah. Alright, let's see if Fini can KO Grimmsnarl with Icy Wind. Hey, this was closer than I thought, and oh, wait, I forgot my Fini's not at full HP. Okay, yeah, this is over. And we end up missing, but that's fine. Like, we were lucky enough to hit as many as we did. We hit the crucial ones. Oh, man. Okay, let's say I switch Zekrom out there. We would have won the game then. Because unless Grimmsnarl had priority to actually knock out Zekrom. So I should have just gone for the switch. Like, I was already behind in this game, right? And Yveltal, if you're Life Orb and you revealed Max Guard, the odds of you having Sucker Punch feel more slim to me. Although, I don't know. I want to check what Yveltal, Life Orb Yveltals are running these days. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't even think about Sucker Punch from the Grimmsnarl there, or Urshifu there. But I think the one play we could have done differently in this endgame after greeting turn 1 was making the switch. But I didn't make the switch. Yeah, that was a really fun game, though. And I mean, this shows why you don't give up, right? Like, in the end, yes, we lost, but we actually certainly had opportunities to win. And if I made the Zekrom switch, I actually think we would have won this game. So, yeah. The main thing is, like, you know, it's often easy to want to, like, feel like the game is lost, but... sometimes your opponent might not have, like, the best Pokemon to have in the back, right? If they had a Lecky rather than Grimmsnarl, for example, the game was, like, 100% over, but they had Grimmsnarl. Now, I could have just gone for close combat on a Grimmsnarl, but I don't think close combat Icy Wind was KOing there anyway, so the only way we could have won this after turn 1 was conserving Zekrom. So... that's why it can be bad to play risky turn 1. It is a little bit frustrating because if I just went Wicked Blow onto Landorus turn 1 with my Urshifu, knock out Landorus, Zekrom actually just wins the game for me at that point, I think. Because their remaining Pokemon were Urshifu, Yveltal. Well, not necessarily, because then I guess you do have physical damage. So, yeah. I do want to check out Yveltal. 52% run Sucker Punch, so it feels like decently likely. I don't know. But what are the odds they would Sucker Punch close combat? Well, Sucker Punch close combat into Zekrom is actually their best play. Well, they didn't know I was AV. You should tell them AV, though, based on the fact I survived. Because if you have Sucker Punch on Yveltal, that's the play I would make in that position. It covers... the only thing it doesn't cover for is Zekrom protecting, but you know Zekrom shouldn't have Protect because of the AV. So if you Sucker Punch close combat there, you also nail the switch in, and we'd lose instantly. But I suppose at that point, we were already so far behind that yeah, we just needed to make that switch because it's like we would lose anyway, right? So, yeah, kind of kicking myself for not making that switch, but that's why, like, you never want to be behind, significantly behind at the start of the game, because then you have to find really clever plays and play perfectly to get back into it. And even if you play like 90% of the turns perfectly, doesn't matter if your opponent has a huge lead and they're able to execute and find that 10%, right? As long as they make, like, find the 1 or 2 plays that, you know, prevents you from winning, then you've got it. So in this game, yeah, because they brought Grimmsnarl, we actually would have had a pretty good shot if we conserved Zekrom, but we didn't. So in the end, it is what it is. But at least, you know, that's why you never give up. Like, we could have definitely pulled off a comeback there. Turn 1 was greedy on my end, but we didn't have a super safe play, to be honest, right? Because they intimidated our Landorus. So if I max Landorus, we don't really do nearly enough damage. I didn't know the item on the Yveltal as well. So that means I needed to lead better, but, man. If I wanted a better lead, the lead would have been Fini. Fini Zekrom doesn't feel right, though, because I get intimidated on Zekrom. Fini Landorus, then, maybe, for an Icy Wind, then I get a switch in. But the problem is I don't want to Icy Wind until I see Yveltal's weakness, whether or not it has weakness policy, so... I'm not sure we had a very consistent lead from turn 1 there, but that's okay. Not every team you go up against, you know, you're going to have a safe lead against, and that's one of the reasons why Pokemon can be a very, very difficult game. But, yeah. Anyway, that is going to be it for this one, so thank you so much, as always, for watching. If you enjoyed, please show your support by leaving a like. Those are some really fun games. This team is also really fun, so thanks to Akuma once again for the team. Details in the description below. Don't forget to answer the question of the day, and I'll see you all next time. Alright, peace.